Exactly. Go ahead.
I can do backup. Shake, shake.
All right.
Can you?
So I basically broke the internet by saying the most logical statement ever. I have TMZ, E-News, all these blog sites, over 10 million views on my Twitter post, which I really don't even use Twitter anymore. I didn't post this to cause people to freak out or anything. I thought what I said was pretty much common sense and everyone knew this. I said, no good-hearted man with morals wants to wife a girl who's posting her naked body online for the entire world to see, doing sexual acts on the internet. Like, this shit's vile, it's gross, it's disgusting. Like, how is this controversial in any way? At no other time in human history would what I said would anyone be offended by. Nobody would give a fuck. Like, up until 3 years ago, until the pandemic and everybody just fucking resorted to doing OnlyFans as a career, nobody would have cared that I said this at all. I stand by everything I said. I don't care what anybody thinks.
So, okay, that was the video that was in response to his viral tweet. Opening up to the panel, your thoughts on... Actually, yeah, let's start with you. Go ahead. You got to scoot into the table a little more, though.
You know, like, he's entitled to his opinion. I feel like there's obviously a lot of people that agree with that, and that's okay. I think, you know, he's stating a lot of those things like they're fact when it's, like, super debatable. Aside from that, this is the first time I've saw it. I didn't know it broke the internet. I guess thank you for sharing, Travis. Trace, what's his name? Trace. Thank you for sharing. And also, I love that Metro Station song, man. Next time, bring it back. I want to see you perform that. That would make me happy. Yeah.
Any reaction to the video? Agree, disagree?
I mean, everybody has their opinion. I feel like there's people that probably agree with him. I just think it's corny when people take it to the internet, because then it just feels like you just want clout.
Yeah.
Because I feel like you can talk about that with whoever you want to talk about it with, and you can feel that way, but why are you doing the most on the internet? Like, why are you posting something on Twitter? It's kind of just corny.
Well, I guess it's like, why do you think
Hold on. Do you think women should not post on the internet about abortion? It's kind of extra, don't you think?
I just think the whole thing is extra. I
mean,
feel like the
taking
internet
it
is
away.
extra.
So people should just not.
I mean,
different
abortion
situation.
applies to them. You
Yeah,
know, like
also that.
he seems to be
But-
more fired up and passionate about this subject than me, and it directly applies to
Yeah.
me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to
Yeah.
force or like my opinions on other people. I don't need other people to like agree with me or have some type of like stance that, you know, like I'm not trying to convince anybody. Like, I know how I feel, and like that's okay with me.
Here, let's let the other girls weigh in on this. Do you have anything?
I was just gonna like respond to what she said. Like, he's just doing it for clout, but don't you think every girl who does OnlyFans is posting pictures for clout and
For
to
money?
gain money?
No, it's a monetary thing. You know, like
Promoting
clout
it.
doesn't pay the
Why?
bills.
But why? That's an. I love you, Madison. That's an L take.
What?
If someone has a position on something, they're just doing it for clout.
No, I wasn't saying. I'm not
Wait.
saying that.
You think the girls? But you said he's doing it for clout.
I know. I
He
didn't say
personally
that.
Said
is.
if he was
I didn't say that.
Okay, so I misunderstood. My bad. What?
She
who's
said
doing it
that
for clout?
she was just saying that he's posting these things on the internet just for clout. I'm just saying, don't you think OnlyFans girls who post their bodies on the internet are doing it for
I
clout
see.
too?
But so do you?
I agree with what he says.
Okay.
End of discussion.
Okay.
I mean, I respect his opinion and whatnot.
Do
I
you?
don't think
I mean,
it's.
you do
I
OnlyFans,
don't.
so.
Yeah, I mean, I can respect
That's
his
fine.
opinion and share a different one at the same time. Two truths can
Sure.
be universal. But
Right.
at the same time, I don't think he's speaking fact. It's his own opinion, and he has every right to say anything about it. But you know, it's whatever. It doesn't affect me. It's not any big deal for me. It's just not my type. Then move on down the line.
Liv.
I would say I kind of agree and disagree a little bit, because he said multiple things, but I don't think that if somebody had an OnlyFans or porn that they are just ruined and they're just never going to find a good man. I think that there are men out there that are like, I don't care about your past, like, I want to be with you. A lot more men are like not okay with the current OnlyFans and porn, and I understand that too. So I see both sides, but I do not think that somebody's just
Yeah.
never gonna find a man because she had OnlyFans before. Like
Yeah.
that's kind of just
I'm,
a shitty way of thinking.
he said it himself in a statement. He knows OnlyFans girls that are really good girls, like really down
Exactly,
to earth
yeah,
and
he-
stuff. So
yeah.
like, you know, at that point, it's just how the men are
Yeah.
in taking that information and what they're gonna pass their judgments on and
But I
whatnot.
do think it's right that he says, like, in the future it will affect your kids and things like that.
I think that
It
depends on your
could.
situation
Yeah.
for sure.
There's a lot of things that
For
affect
sure,
kids.
but I'm not like, you know, like screaming online like everything that's gonna affect children. Like there's so many things that can affect kids.
I guess in retrospect, men really do care about your past, and that's just, I guess he's more trying to empower the men.
Should we care
Yeah.
about theirs?
Some-
Some
internet.
men, for
Yeah.
Yes,
for real,
women do
though.
care about men's
I
past.
said,
yeah,
should
like
we?
and you know,
Then
So women just have zero preferences, standards, and boundaries for men. Like, let's not kid ourselves.
No, of
Women are
course not.
incredibly. Hold on.
Standards.
Women are incredibly selective over the kinds of men that they're gonna date, that they're gonna fuck, and that they're gonna marry.
Of
He needs to be
course.
this tall. He needs to make this much money. It's only upsetting when men have standards, preferences, and boundaries.
I
Hold on. The
disagree.
moment a guy has any sort of preference, standard, or boundary, it's oh my god, that's unacceptable. That's discriminatory.
that's not what any of us
Yeah.
said though.
I
We
don't
we
think
said
there's
that
anything
is
wrong with it.
acceptable. I respect your opinion. That's okay with me, and I accept that. Like we didn't say that's unacceptable. We all said that's perfectly fine for you to feel that way.
But didn't you say why should men care about a woman's past?
she said
no, I said
Because-
so we should care
So
about the
we
men's
should care
past
too,
too.
like-
Then,
like-
because there's a lot of men that do really dirty
know,
stuff,
like-
and then they
Sure.
want to be in a relationship
That's
afterwards.
totally fine. If you don't want to
And-
date a guy who's for whatever reason,
I think
that's
everybody's
fine.
different.
Yeah,
if
it's
you
all
care about that and you
okay.
value it, then that's fine. But everybody's different. There are people who won't care about that and they can still find a good relationship. is what
Also,
I'm saying.
if I
you're
met-
boxing people into one box, and everybody's different. There's a
Also,
lot of different
if-
crazy
Wait,
personalities.
just one point of clarification. When you say you're boxing people into one box, are you talking about men who their preference and standard is they don't want to date a woman who's done porn or OnlyFans? Is that the box that we're
No,
talking
no.
about
I'm
here?
saying he's boxing that all into one box, saying that they'll never find anything, and everybody's different. So there's a chance that someone might not care. A lot of people do, and that's okay, and they can care. But
I think it's hyperbole to say that women who do OnlyFans or who do porn, it's going to be impossible for them to find.
that's what he said. Yeah, right.
He might be exaggerating there. Ultimately, though, I'd have to pull it back up.
it's just speaking in absolutes
But the
about
more-
a subject that is
Here, okay,
way
okay,
more
okay.
complicated
The
than
more
that, and you can't
defensible-
speak in an absolute about that.
The more defensible position is if you engage in porn or OnlyFans or sex work, it's going to be harder for you to secure a long-term relationship. It's going to be harder on your children. It's going to be potentially harder on your marriage.
Yeah, but not
Yeah,
impossible.
of
It depends
course,
on
the
the guy.
same
I'm not
thing
saying
could
it's
be
not
the
impossible.
But
same
that's-
thing
he was saying
could
it's not
be
gonna
said
happen. He
about
literally
a
said
lot of
impossible.
other
I
things
think
that
that's
make it more
hyperbole.
difficult to find someone as well, you know, but the focus is specifically on this.
I think it's a bit of hyperbole on his part to say it will be impossible. I think he's just exaggerating to make a point. I'm sure if you were to ask him to clarify, he would. If you
I
were to
mean,
say,
he
"Hold
had
on,
his
no, stop,
opportunity."
stop." If you were to ask Trace, "Hey, do you think it would be possible for one woman who does OnlyFans or porn to find a loving husband and have a happy family?" He'd probably say yes. But he's speaking, I think what he's trying to get at, he's using hyperbole to make a point. Generally speaking, I would say if you do sex work, if you do OnlyFans, if you do adult content, it's going to be harder for you. You're going to shrink your pool of potential partners because there's just a subset of men that don't want to be involved with women that do and OnlyFans and sex work, and they don't want to have kids with women that do and OnlyFans and sex work. There's some men who are not going to have a problem with that. The question then becomes, are you going to be attracted to those men?
I don't know.
I think
Yes, that
there's
would be-
enough people in the world that it's gonna be okay.
And that's fine.
I would want a man that would not be bothered. So
I mean,
it'd be
if
like
you're-
me finding a guy
I don't
too.
even want to say.
But that's the thing. You're only gonna be, you're only gonna attract the men that aren't gonna be bothered.
And some of them are great.
Yeah. Also, like, you know, if I met a really great guy and he ticked all these boxes for me and I felt like a spark and love and connection with him and there was something, well, like use the example you like to give, like he was shorter or something, I would be able to put that aside. Or there was something in his past, maybe they like, you know, and I saw that they were a different person and we had all these great things together. Like I would be able to put that aside and not judge their entire character based on that. And maybe not everybody can do that, and that's totally okay. Like doing OnlyFans, like I for sure am not sitting here blind. Like it doesn't affect my life. Like I understand that and I respect that, and I actually really try and understand that more, like what other people's perspective is, because like I care about it. But like it doesn't, like to speak in such absolute like that, like I'm never gonna find a man, is I just think it's like aggressive and like kind of not correct.
Well, I think he said a good man. And
Yeah,
he's saying, like,
well,
most
a good
men,
man.
but he's saying most good men who have, like, say, traditional values.
I know what
or
he's saying.
Values,
I saw it.
a lot of men with those sorts of values are not going to want to date a woman who's been involved in sex work, OnlyFans, etc.
Trust me, I'm so aware. It's my life.
Oh, so you have encountered difficulties finding relationship because of...
I actually haven't.
Okay,
I
I'm
haven't
confused
personally
then.
encountered that, but I definitely understand that it's important for me, anyone that I'm like interested or or am interested in or is seeing me, that I like
Okay.
check in with them how they feel about that. And if someone isn't like okay with that, then obviously they're not the person for me.